Welcome to another Coding Like Matt Matlab tutorial. Today we are starting a new series, Getting Started with Matlab. In these 5 or so videos we will cover everything you need to get started in Matlab from the first time you open it. Today's video will introduce the user interface and show you how to get started running scripts. In case you want to skip to the next topic, conditionals, that is if statements, a box will appear here when that video is published in the next week or so. If you like this video or want to learn more about coding in Matlab or data science in general, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We have a bunch of videos covering more advanced topics and more coming out all the time. To get started today, let's open Matlab from the desktop. Initially, when Matlab finishes loading, you see the main user interface for Matlab 2018. This lets us interact with the Matlab workspace, as well as perform many other useful operations. The most important section in the control ribbon is the File section. Here we can create new files and scripts, as well as use pre-built functions and classes so you don't have to remember all the syntax. Next, notice the ribbon at the top of the page. This is a section for making quick plots from templates and an Apps section, which includes useful tools for doing common tasks like training machine learning models, fitting data, and other similar tasks. Finally, if the interface gets messed up for any reason, you can always reset it in the Environment section by going to the default layout as shown here. Next, let's go over the main window itself. In the default layout, we have 3 sections. The first one is the command window. Here we can type Matlab code to execute it directly in the current workspace. Next, we have the Workspace Viewer. In this window, we can explore the variables in the current workspace. It's empty right now because there are no variables yet. Last, we have the current folder viewer. Files in this folder are automatically available to Matlab for execution and loading. It's also empty right now because we haven't put anything in the current folder yet. So let's go ahead and fill in some of these empty windows. First, we're going to execute a bit of Matlab code, and in doing so create a variable x with a value of 1. As you can see, the Workspace Viewer now shows one variable with value 1. We can also display things in this window, as shown here if I enter the same command without a semicolon. Next, let's create a new file with the New Script button. And up pops our new script. I've added a couple of lines to clear up the workspace. The close all and clear all commands will close any open figures and remove any variables we have left behind from before. This is useful to make sure our code always runs from the same starting point, and I generally include these 2 lines at the top of every script I write in Matlab. Let's start by saving our file. As you can see, the file appears in the current folder window once we save it, which was empty before. Next, let's learn how to run this file. One way to do this is the Run section in the editor window. You can see here there's a Run button, but also commands for running just the current command and advancing one step, or running the current section, or even running the code for the purposes of timing it. This last button is actually incredibly useful, and we'll be discussing it in a future video, linked to here when it's ready. When we first run the code, you'll notice that the variable is indeed cleared out of the workspace, but because we don't do anything else besides clean up, nothing else happens. We can also run the same script by pressing F5 as I'm doing right here. Let's go ahead and add the variable creation code back into the script. And here we can now see that it does indeed create the variable again when we run the script, as shown in the workspace window. So in this first video of our Getting Started with Matlab series, we've gone over how to use the Matlab 2018 user interface, as well as how to create and run your first script. Click one of the buttons here to see the next video in the series once it's available, and if you want to follow this video or others like it, don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about using Matlab, feel free to ask in the comments below.